Hello, everyone. Patriot5 here with Patriot6. Friday night, Friday finale. Let's have some fun. I hope so. Today's been a very, very long day. I went through a spell today that I'm gonna be 100% honest. I was this close to calling it. I'm done. I They say the one way to beat depression is to talk about it. I don't know what happened to me today, but I I went through a very, very rough patch of depression. I had my morning talk with God, and that helped. Right after that, I picked up my granddaughter from preschool, her little party. I got to be part of it, and that helped. Talking to the two teachers, and then I talked to a dear friend, and I got a lot better. But I mean, I was real close about just coming on, posting I wasn't doing a show tonight, and deciding over the weekend if I was going to continue this journey because I'm having a hard time coming on 3 nights a week and constantly lying to everybody. Because it doesn't make a dang bit of difference what we do and what we say. It always turns out that we're lying. Even though every time I tell you something, I believe it. Did I believe yesterday? Do I believe today? Do I believe tomorrow? Yeah. I remember 2.5 weeks ago, we was in a position in this where we're at this journey. We was all sky high. I said, I don't think we'll do another show the way we're doing them now. Now we'll have to, it remains to be seen what we're going to be allowed to do to continue the show. But to talk about some of the things we talk about, I didn't think we'd ever do another show like that 2.5 weeks ago. And right after I made that statement on the show that night, I remember receiving a message from Savior. And it said, everything is going to come down the 24th, 25th, and 26th. We're talking about we're going to go in and it's going to be announced. The big N and big G. We're talking about we're going to get 800 numbers. We're talking about Goldback Standard. We're talking about everything, the 24th, 25th, and 26th. Then went on to start discussing the numbers aligning themselves. You know, yesterday, 2024. I mean, the 20th. Whatever. But we're in 2024, and yesterday was the 24th, the 10th month, 10/24 is what I meant to say. Today's 10/25. And I got a big boost out of that because, see, Ron and myself, we have been big on numbers for a long time. The 111s, 222, 333, 444, 555, and all 4 ones for 1111. But see, another thing I notice a lot of times is 606, 505, all of them that's got 2 of the 3 in it. Because let's face it, you can't have 3 7s, 3 8s, 3 9s.
And if you're playing poker.
Pardon me? Ron said you can if you're having playing poker. But we're big on that. And the girl that I write, Julia, in the Ukraine 5 days a week, 2 nights in a row before yesterday, 2 nights in a row, I had written her letters discussing the numbers, how I thought all of the numbers were starting to align themselves. And I think we were in for something big on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, because that's what I've been told. But I could see it actually coming because I was seeing these numbers unbelievably, tremendously. If I wouldn't get the 111 on the clock, Ron would. If I went to get the 1111, Ron would. We went like 3 or 4 or 5 days in a row. We got every one of them. But then we also got 606 and, 1212, things like that. And in my letter that I received just yesterday from Julia, she starts off and she says, Ralph, I have some news I just have to share with you because I'm so excited. And now she lives in a war zone in Ukraine, in Berzniak. So, there's a saying, live today because tomorrow's not promised. But we live in, as bad as it is, as bad as these idiotic people are making us go, the things are making us go through. We're not going through 1/10 of what these people are over there. And I hear so many people just cutting down Ukrainian people. Why? Because they have a terrible president? Because they have a president like the actor we have here in the United States? So we're supposed to judge the Ukrainian people by the way their president, because him and his buddy here in our country make ways where we'll give you a whole lot of money. You can keep a lot yourself. You can give me a lot back, and we'll make it look like we're really helping your country. And all they're doing is lining their pockets. That's all they're doing. They don't give a damn about their people. Sleepy could care less about any of us. That idiot, that whatever you want to call her, him, whatever she is or he is, that guy that they got running for the, under her, he actually had the nerve to make a video the other day and come on and say, Elon Musk is running on stage like a chicken with his head cut off, a cheerleader, this and that. This is the biggest buffoon we've ever seen in the history of the United States of America as far as stupidity. What we went through for 4 years with Sleepy and Dopey, I didn't think there was any possible way. I didn't think there was any possible way that it could get dumber. And I'm telling you, that party, if they are able to steal again, it just got the dumbest it could ever possibly be. You could put them two together and they couldn't get 1/10 of a thought. A person goes on to answer questions. She's got a teleprompter and she has to read the answer. She's been caught time and time again. You got jackasses, the animals. I'm not cussing here. You got jackasses imitating her laugh. So, I feel better. No, actually, I started feeling a little bit better a little while ago. But I want to finish the story about my Ukrainian friend. She tells me, honey, I feel really good because everything you've been telling me now for the last 2 nights, but you've talked about numbers a lot this whole last month. Every letter you write me, you've talked about numbers. She said, I'm sitting in the internet cafe, reading your letter that you wrote me today, reading about the numbers, how they're lining up, how they're doing this, how they're doing that. And I hear 2 little ladies, they're elderly, and they're writing some family back home in the United States. And I hear one say, well, something big is about ready to happen, not only in our country, but all over the world. And the other one says, yes, because the numbers are lining up. And they was going into other details of which she didn't get into, but she said, I literally sat with them after we got done doing our stuff, and we sat for almost a half an hour talking about this. And she says she makes copies of every one of my letters so she can go home and read them, because when you're in an internet cafe, you don't get so long at a computer. She says to the ladies, now what you was talking about, she said, there's a man in the United States named Ralph Anderson, and this is what he's been telling me in letters to me. And she started showing these letters and letting these ladies read them about everything aligning up. And the one little lady looked at the other one and says, I told you, it's not just us. They're seeing it all over the world. And it made her very, very happy, because living in a war zone in Berzniak, she's been very fortunate in her neighborhood. The closest they've ever got to her, as far as bombing and shelling goes, is about 4 blocks away. But she's literally walked to work on days. And when she walked home at night, the next morning when she went back, a building was not there. So for everybody who says nothing is really going on, there's really no war, bull crap. So I was pretty depressed knowing the situation she's in. But these two little ladies, one's name was Edith and the other one was Annie. I'll never forget their names. She'll never forget their names, because they opened up a window of hope. But here we go. And I'm gonna talk to the kids real quick. I don't mean to elaborate a lot, because I don't even know how much we got today. I told you I was depressed. Whatever you guys got me, Ron got me, whatever, that's what the show is going to be tonight. I'm more or less slinging here in the dark. I haven't even listened to Bruce yet.
Oh, you did, Marianne?
Well, Marianne gave me a play-by-play, but I mean, as far as listening to it, But I did listen to Restored Republic. I do have a cute story to tell you in the kids section when I cover the little monkey. It was it's a very loving, cute story about my granddaughter, the little monkey, and her Uncle Ron, Patriot5. So, kids, Jimmy, Larry, the two girls, I haven't had a chance to read if your daddy has sent me anything today. I know here recently, me and him have been right on the same page. And the dream that he had the other day about your mommy, the candle going out on little Jimmy's birthday, it's just all indications. See, the thing that touches me the most, kids, about your mom since she's left us, is the fact that in the dream she told your dad, I'll be back. And I've talked to your dad. I've talked to him through messages about my feelings about be back. And he's asked me, do I think it possible? And I said, I think anything in life is possible. I really do. I mean, she told your dad she had to go help God with something, right? In 1962, then the president of the United States of America, and probably still the president of the United States of America, in my eyes, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, my favorite president, made a statement in the 1990s his son would disappear and come back to save him, America and the world. We've talked about Buddy Holly and Richie Valens and a Big Bopper. We've talked about Elvis, about Princess Di. We've talked about John Denver. We've talked about Kobe Bryant. We've talked about Michael Jackson. And for you kids, you know what I'm talking about. You followed me long enough that you know we have reports of things on them. So if they can, why can't mommy? And I know I'm not saying this to give you the hope that I'm saying she is. I'm just saying, in my eyes, anything is possible. So just keep the faith. And know tomorrow the beds are supposed to be released. Then again, all this other stuff was supposed to happen yesterday, today, and it may have happened. It may have happened. I do have some information about something that might have happened that Linda sent me. She said she sent it to my site. But as I told everyone, the funk I've been in today, I didn't see it, but I will read what Linda said to me to cheer me up. Linda is a very, very dear friend to me, and she's someone I can go and rant and rave to and know that it's going to stay just the ranting and raving to her. And I just think the world of her, as I do all of everyone here. We have a nice turnout tonight. We have 100 people right now. Ann and David, Ian, Gary, Janet, Michael, Russ, and I'm sure there's many. Bill Woods is here. Ron says. Ron's here. I'm here. Yeah, it's funny. Whenever I read who's here, Papa G's here. Papa G, how you doing, buddy? So, Patriot 11. I hope you're doing great in school. I hope you're still riding your horses and everything's good. And hope all you kids are in weather where it's still decent, where you can enjoy it. We got a little bit of coolness here. I won't say cold, but cool. We got down below the freezing mark a couple of nights, but we didn't frost, so we didn't lose. And what I mean by that is today is the 25th of October. 2 months from today, Christmas will about be over. But remember, the hat says November 5th, ho, ho, ho. And I wanted to do a gematria on that on November 5th, ho, ho, ho. And I have not got it done yet, but I will. And then maybe I'll put it up, what it means on TikTok and Rumble, and save it and get it out to as many people as we can, and everybody can just share it. Patriot Karate Kid and Patriot Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. I watched Wyatt Earp last night, buddy. I did. Margaret, I see you just sent an attachment. Is it something I can use in the show tonight? If it is, say, Ralph, take a look at it, please. Oh, there's Russ and Gary. Glad to see you guys here. More new people coming on that I could announce, but we went down in numbers, but that's okay. Anyway, we have Patriot Princess, our queen, and Patriot Hunter, Patriot Little Leona, and Patriot Little Ilana, Patriot Boogs, Boogaloo, Boogaroo, and Boogie. John, thanks again for the pictures that you're sending me. All right, Janet, I just went through a little bit of what I like to call it self-pity. I'm not going to quit. I promise you I won't quit. You guys won't let me. My goodness gracious, if I was to announce I quit, I'd be swamped by you guys. No, you're right though. I've come too far. One voice for you is here. Ian Bell, Chronic Eats. I always feel chronic after I eat. But finishing out on the kids, Patriot Super Gymnast. I will be making a message or a call after this show is over. She got off the bus tonight, and her best friend, who her dad passed away, it's been almost a month, is still not going to school very much. And I believe in mourning. I believe in giving a kid the right to do things. But I also believe in discipline. And I believe the little girl who I love dearly, I love her like a granddaughter. As a matter of fact, she calls me Papa. Michael's here. Susie Q, good to see all you guys. But anyway, she's abusing it. She only goes to school when she wants to go to school. Now, in the day that I went to school, like back in, before in the BC area, if we would have missed like that, no matter if it was because of a parent passing away or not, we wouldn't have passed. They wouldn't have let you, when I was in 7th grade, I missed 46 days of school because I had some anxiety. I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. I was a young kid who loved sports, loved baseball, living in a town, living in the only house I ever knew. Ron gets drafted and sends out of the country. Russ gets drafted and sent to Vietnam. My 2 brothers. My sister was married, living far away. It was just me and my mom and my dad. Now I was fine with that as long as we were still living in Buckingham, where all my friends were. But no, we get moved out on a farm because our landlord died. The estate sold the house, and the guy who bought it kicked us out, sent us out to a house 9 miles away from here. So I was by myself. So I went through a lot of depression, worrying about Ron being over in Germany and France, Russ being in Vietnam. Just went through some very bad times. I missed 46 days of school. My reward was not counseling. My reward was not this. It wasn't that. My reward was, with 6 weeks to go, if you miss one more day, we're going to hold you back. Now, I went 6 grades with the same kids. I made new friends the little I went to school in Herscher, because I also had to leave Buckingham, only had 6th grade, so I had to go to Herscher that year. So it was a whole new experience. Instead of walking out my front door across the yard to go to school, which would take me a whole total of, if I'd run, less than a minute to get out of my front door to the school door. Now all of a sudden I got on a bus and be bused to school. And it literally was a very bad time for me. But anyway, going back to Patriot Super Gymnast, she got off the bus and her best friend wasn't there, and she's walking alone, and I'm sitting there waiting for her. 2 other kids, Patriot5 and Little Monkey, was playing at the park. I said, "What's the matter, baby?" And she goes, "Nothing, I'm okay." I said, "What you make there?" And she normally is proud of the things she accomplishes. She just kind of opened it up like, yeah, closed it back up and set it down. I said, you want to play for a while? She said, yeah. One voice for you is here. And I watched her. She just wasn't herself. She played for not even 5 minutes, and she comes over and she says, "Papa, I got to go to the bathroom." Well, there's a porta potty there. And I said, okay. And I'm thinking, and go and stand guard, because I don't trust people. When it comes to kids, I don't trust anybody unless I really, really know them. So I said, okay, you want me to go over there? And she says, no, can we just go home? I said, sure. So I said, come on, Addison, the little monkey, and come on, Liam. We went home. We didn't have no trouble. But she gets home, she goes to the restroom, and she comes out and she gets a blanket. She covers completely up and gets under it, head and everything. So I got her mom, and I talked to her about keep an eye on her. She didn't have she wasn't feverish, but she said her stomach was hurting. And I knew that she wasn't feeling good when she got home, because after she goes to the potty when she gets home, first thing she always does is, Papa, what do you got for a snack for us? Because I always have a snack ready for them. This little girl eats her lunch at school at 10:30. Now she gets to school at 8. She eats lunch so she eats breakfast at 7:15. She eats lunch at 10:30, and now it's 4 o'clock. If we stay at the park, sometimes 4:30 or 5. She's hungry. Her mom don't get home till about 5, so now they got to make supper. But she wasn't hungry, so I will be contacting and make sure she's okay. Patriot5, he wants to go fishing this weekend and wanted to go tomorrow, but it's going to be too cold, and I think we're going to go Sunday before the Bears play. Patriot Small Hank is counting his hours down now. He sent me a picture just a little bit ago. We did a video chat the other day. He's in Jamaica, and he was talking about stuff, and I said, will you go have an ice cream cone for me? You tell him this is for your grandpa. And he said, okay, and he finally sent me a picture tonight, eating the ice cream cone. Patriot little Kira, I haven't seen her. Usually my son video chats me 4 or 5 times, but he's only did it once this time. So I'm assuming they're having a really good time and just staying busy. But Patriot, little monkey, I saved her for last for all the kids tonight because, as I told you, I'm driving over to her little party at school today and to pick her up. And when I get there, once her party ended and out we left, and I was talking to her 2 teachers that we're going to go to Walmart. I was looking for some things to fix something, and she said, we're going to Walmart, Grandpa? And I said, yeah. She says, cool. And I said, okay. She says, that means we can go out to lunch? And I said, sure, we can go out to lunch. You're buying. And she laughed. I don't got no money. Now listen, I ain't got no money. I haven't seen Uncle Ron, and I spent the $5 he gave me the other day. She bought herself a toy. So I said, well, speaking of Uncle Ron, we're going to go out and have lunch with him. Or we're going to get him some lunch, and then we can have lunch here in town if you want. She says, I've got a great idea. I said, what's your great idea? Now remember, guys, this is a 4-year-old. Grandpa, my idea is we'll go get lunch, and we'll take it to Uncle Ron's, and me, you, and him, we can eat lunch together, because no matter what Uncle Ron's watching on TV, as soon as I come in the door, he turns cartoons on for me because he loves me. I said, that's your great idea. I said, okay, do you want to go to Burger King or do you want to go to Wendy's? I want to go to Burger King. So we went to Burger King. We got the $5 meal for all 3 of us. They messed it up, but I took the bite of it. I didn't get it what they got, but I got plenty to eat. I'm okay. I did call Burger King's place where we bought it and talk to the manager, and the manager said, would you do me a favor? I said, sure. What is it? She says, please call corporate, give my name, Larry, and tell them that you talked and the lady was rude to you. And she was. As a matter of fact, the lady who waited on me at the window, she was so rude. She took my order. I couldn't understand her. She talked like she had a pile of, you know what in her mouth. When I finally get up there, I pay. And I said to the other lady, I said, I don't know how much I owe you, ma'am. I couldn't understand her. And he says, yeah, I know, she was very rude to you. So this was one worker that already noticed how rude she was to me. So I got to go pick it up at the next window. And when it finally gets there, she hands me the monkey's drink. She had a fruit punch. And she hands it to me and just drops it on the ground. So she's got to get another one. That made her mad. Made sure we got the next one. I handed it to the monkey. She put it in her cup holder. I got mine and Ron's drink, and I put it in our cup holders. We got the food, and I'm starting to look through it. And it looked like all she did was just took her hands like this and just threw it all together. I said, ma'am, I see the fries. I see the chicken nuggets. But you didn't give me all my sandwiches. Everything is there. If you got a complaint, bring it to the manager. I said, well, no. I said, if it's not all there, it's not all there. But I did see 3 bags of chicken nuggets. So if there's only 2 sandwiches, I forgot just to eat the chicken nuggets. I don't need a sandwich. We get to Ron's house, get everybody set up. I get Ron his food, I get her sitting right here where I'm sitting now, the food. And I was right. There was a sandwich missing. But what they did, instead of giving you 4 chicken nuggets in one, they gave us 8. So I split my chicken nuggets with my little dog. But when I called, the guy said, please call and complain. And I said, why? He says, I've been trying to get her fired. She is killing business here. She is the worst worker I've ever seen, but they won't listen to me. I've got to get customers to actually call in and complain about her. So we're sitting here eating, and I'm doing some things, and I listen to Ron and the monkey talking and this and that. She ate everything except 1 chicken nugget. She kept it for Dasher, our little dog. She says, can he have this? Hey, Gary, good to see you here. Bill and David, one voice for you. CA's here. If I've mentioned your name already, feel fortunate I'm mentioning it again. Oh, Susie Q. But anyway, I just felt, the day that I was going through, and to have her want to go have lunch with her Uncle Ron, it just kind of took me out of my doldrums. When you can have a 4-year-old granddaughter that thinks like that she would rather come and spend time with her Uncle Ron, it really made me feel good. That concludes the kids. Remember, kids, that everything that we talk about here is sometimes not appropriate. So we advise and we mark that this video is not made for children. It can be watched by children under the discretion of their parents, grandparents, or legal guardians. The music that we're about to play is for entertainment purposes only. So let's say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then let's get into the music. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
If tomorrow things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, where the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt as love this land. God bless the USA. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, oh, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, oh, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt of this. God bless the USA. next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land.
Proud to be an American, or at least we know we're free, or they tell us we are anyway. No, we are.
4 reasons people buy
We-
AARP level
We
benefit.
are. Guys, I didn't realize I talked that long. And normally I would apologize for talking like that, but tonight's show is about me getting through tonight's show. When I look over here and see Janet and people telling me we've come too far to quit, I won't quit. But boy, I tell you, there's just sometimes it just takes over. It just it's hard to explain the things that's going on. Now, last night, where are we? Last night, as we had Bruce on. Hold on a second, guys. Yes, he is, and I figured he would. Time to have fun. My grandson, Small Hank, had just sent me a message. Told me he had more ice cream than just the one he showed me. Last night, with Marianne, with Bruce, Bruce had his typical show. He talks first all the time, just briefly, building into Sue, and for some reason Sue has to go over an hour every night. What people have to start taking into consideration when they're doing shows and they're starting them at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock is fine if you're in California. 8 o'clock is fine if you're in Illinois. But 8 o'clock on the East Coast is 9 o'clock. See what I mean? If I do a show, it's 8 o'clock. That's why I don't like to go an hour, maybe a few minutes over or a few minutes under, because people need to have a life. And for some reason, her bundles, and now last night she has a sale on her bundles, which I thought was a good thing because she says in there, I noticed the price for the classes is down 150. They were 300. Bruce is now talking about presentations and how Bruce wanted to talk about how to handle yourself when you do your presentation, which for his listeners, I wouldn't think he would talk about that. I would think if he was going to talk about something like that, he would have the expert, and that's Sue. And see, I tell you guys what I think you're going to need to do. But what I'm telling you is my suggestions. I haven't sat in a redemption center. And I think that's what the trouble is. Too many people are telling too many things. So my belief is you take the information you have, how much currency you have it written down, you have your presentation ready, and you go in there and you present it. Don't just have one presentation. You have one with you. If you're taking someone with you, you have a presentation for both of the people going, you and whoever. If it's just you, then it's just for you. And then have at least 3 or maybe 4 other ones so you can give to whoever is sitting in. There could be just one person. There could be 2. There could be 3. I don't know. I'm going to try to take at least 3 extra. Ron doesn't care if he has one to look at. He's read them. He knows what they're about. Right now, I have 4 made up. I may make a 5th or a 6th one up just in case. But the main thing is, no matter how much I talk, no matter how much Sue talks, no matter how much Bruce talks, we can say everything we want. We can prepare you to the moment. But then you're going to have that moment. You're going to walk in there. When you get out of that car, if you got a presentation due at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 a.m., don't arrive at that parking lot until 8:50. Don't arrive at 7:30, 8:30. Arrive at 8:50. Park your car. If you got hair, I don't have to worry about this one, but if you got hair, fluff your hair, get your appearance, look in the mirror. Women, check your lipstick, look in the mirror, and just when you look in the mirror, tell them, I got this. I can handle this. This is me. They need what I have. The world needs what I have more than I need what I have. They need to come to me. I'm in charge. They're just the people who's going to give it to me what I have deserving. No matter how I preach, no matter how I talk, no matter what I say, you're going to open that car door and you're going to get out. And that walk, which might only be 20 yards to the front door, you're going to feel your throat start to clam up. You're going to be going like this because your lips are going to be so dry. You're going to hope when you reach out to shake their hands and say hello, you can get a hello out. But you can do it. You know why? Because you're a true patriot and God's got you. You got this and God's right there with you. He chose you to be walking in that redemption center or that tier 1 bank at that particular moment. That's all you have to know. You prepare yourself what's going to make you the most comfortable. You have your literature. If you bought from Sue, fine. If you got stuff from me, fine. Whatever, but you're in charge. When they start to talk and you hand them the stuff, you make sure you ask certain questions. Here's my list. If they say, how much currency do you have when you hand it over? Well, here, you show them your list and you go through it. You might have 3, you might have 4, you might have just one currency. And you tell them and it's written down. But you have a paper right there. You have a paper right there with your list of what you're giving them. And you say, I need you to sign this paper that I've given you this currency, this amount of currency. When I counted it at home, when I bought it, when I have on records. See, because you got to remember everything you bought is on record. Now, I'm not saying that if you lost a receipt, in the boulevard, I mean, I know how many hundreds of the $1 million notes that me and Ron have. But what if I'm off a few? If they come back and tell me you have this amount and they're off, 3 or 4 $1 million notes, I'm not going to put a stink up. But what I'm saying is you have the person you're talking to, and if there's any other people, you have all them sign it. Sign it, date it, that they're verifying that this is what you give them. The amount of them, the number of them, like me and Ron have 12 different currencies. I have a whole page full of what we have, and they will sign it. Don't let them just take it. If they come back and they say, well, you got this Zim, but this, say you got 5 $100 trillion notes, and they come back and say, well, we got good news, we got bad news. This is what we can give you on the Zim, but there's only 2 of them that's any good. Say, okay. And you get your price, but then you put your hand out And when they say, what's that for? I say, well, I want my other 3 that you say you're not paying me for. Any currency you take in there, if they decide it's bogus, which I'm hearing any currency you take in, they're going to acknowledge as real, is what I'm hearing. Especially the ZIM, because the ZIM is something that is going to be going for humanitarian projects. But just cover your bases there. Okay? As long as you stay in charge, everything will be good. I might do a video on Rumble and get it out to the people. Get it out. I can even put it up here where everyone can see it. Maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow or Sunday. Maybe what I will do is I'll do a video about going to the Redemption Center. And instead of, going deep into here, you guys can have it. You can study it. You're not going to be listening to the rest of the show. You're not going to be wondering, well, what did he say there? And I'll just cover what I think you need to do. But no matter what I tell you, I think you need to do, the main thing you have to remember is it's you. You're the ones that took the chance. You're the one that did what you did. And I'm telling you, I think about me and Ron going to the Redemption Center. And there was a girl that I used to detassel corn with. And she says, man, I'm getting so excited. I think I'm going to pee my pants. And that's how I feel sometimes. I don't know how I'm going to control the emotions. But where I'm going to control them is I'm going to call on God and my Savior, Jesus Christ, to get me through this. Because they brought me this far, why wouldn't they bring me home? And I don't mean home to them, but you understand what I mean? So Bruce also talked about we are really close. We are really, really close. And, I want to tell you what he was saying, that we're close and it should have happened, but there's always just one hiccup. And in Mary Ann's words, here we go again. There's always a hiccup. Old news, contract rates being the best. We all know you're going to get guys. The reason, if you have Zim, you do not go to a bank, because you're going to get a better rate at a redemption center. And someone says, well, what is a redemption center? No one knows. A redemption center may be a tier 1 bank, but they just make a special room for it. We don't know. So there really wasn't a lot about Bruce. And I do have the reading part. I will skim over it, but I went way deep into this stuff. So, mainly because I don't know what I have tonight. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I did want to read something here, if I can find it, that really, really impressed me today. That, wow, Linda, I really wrote you a long letter. I talked to Linda about the depression I was going through today and my feelings and the emotions that was overtaking me. And we won't go into the detail. Linda shares things with me and I share things with her that, it's good to have someone that you can confide in and that. But anyway, she told me that there were some people, and she put it in my Telegram account, that when they went to their bank, there was an extra almost $7,000 in their bank. She said I posted it, and then she actually posted here in the message, and this is what the message says. I was notified by Lonnie and Emily that they had an increase in their SS amount, regular payment, and additional funds totaling over $7,000. And it did, Linda, it made me feel a lot better. And then I got sitting there. I read it when I was in the park with the kids, picking them up from the school buses. And I got sitting there and I got thinking, my Social Security comes the second Wednesday of every month. Ron's comes the first Wednesday, or the first and second of the month. I don't even think he has to wait till Wednesday. They have no trouble sending them out like that every month. I've never been late since I turned 62 and got my first check. I've never been late. It's always been on that day. And when I check my bank, sometimes it's on the in the bank right at midnight. I mean, it's right there at midnight. So the millions and millions of people that they send out Social Security checks all the way through the month, and the people who get their checks all through the month, they have no trouble, just like clockwork. But when it's something special like this, when it's something that can really help people, when it's something that we can finally see and know the hope is there, that everything we're dreaming about, that everything we want is there, now all of a sudden they have trouble sending it. Is it not the same way to send it? I didn't change bank accounts. I didn't change information. Ron didn't change bank accounts. He didn't change information. So why is it every month that we get these letters that this person had an extra X amount of money? This person, but it's always only a handful. And I don't doubt these people. I really and truthfully believe they are. Yeah, Linda, it did. Thank you. I really believe they are getting it, but why is it that they just, is it Sleepy and Dopey running it? And they just can't comprehend that if we're going to give them more, it can still go out the same way as what it did before. See, a little poetry there. More and before. So thank you, Linda, for sending that over. Margaret sent an attachment. I didn't, after I asked her, was it something I could read? I never saw an answer, so. Oh, it's a video, so I'll watch the video after the show, Margaret. But I did want to talk before, since I've kind of covered Bruce, and Ron said it was hard to find when I went in. I think I'm just going to get Judy because we're moving close to the hour mark, and I want to get Judy read and that. But I do have something else I want to talk about. Restored Republic, guys. I want to tell you something, and for everyone on here, wow, 147 people on here. Wow. Tim Brown is here. Gary. I think I've mentioned you already, haven't I, Russ? I know I've mentioned Susie Q because every time I hear that name, I want to sing. But what I'd like to tell everybody, and I hope you're listening right now. If you don't, you'll watch it again and you'll listen then. Because I don't want to mess up your chatting. I know you guys love to chat to each other. But if you're not listening to Restored Republic every day, you should be. You really should be. And if you don't know how to get it, but you're on our messenger, let Ron know and he'll get it over to you.
Are you?
Or I can get it over to you. I believe, Ron, Diane with 2 N's, Patriot Diane with 2 N's, she's good at getting it out. Do we put it in Signal? Restored Republic every day? We don't put it in there, but what I'll do is I'll start putting it in Signal every day. What about Telegram?
No.
And we'll put it in Telegram every day. So we're going to have it all over. And I can even come in here if you want. When we do the video, I can come in and copy and paste it and put it in the day before's video. Like when I do tonight's video, I can put tomorrow's Restored Republic in here, Sunday's Restored Republic in the comments, so you can come back and watch not just my video, but you can just click on the comments and do it. We need to get it out there, guys. You need to start listening to it because something hit me today. And since this group has been going, the love that we have got for each other, the happiness, the joy that we've shared with one another, the one thing that has really hurt this group is something called cancer. Cancer is the silent killer, but you know what? Maybe not anymore. And we all know what is supposed to be announced tomorrow can totally wipe that away. But not once, but twice on Restored Republic today, and I'm pretty sure I got the numbers right. They said, it might have even been more than twice, 18 very adverse, unbelievable doctors who did not believe in that thing that happened in 2020, who stood up. Like the song said, they stood up and walked like a man. They talked like a man. They were a man. They didn't believe in it. They are releasing all different types of cures for this. We've known it. They are literally taking on Big F or P, however you spell it. I don't know. I don't know how you spell it. Because it cracks me up when I hear Dopey say the hat is in bed with Big F or P, Big P. You know, guys know what I'm talking about. It cracks me up. And here's the man that single-handedly, along with these doctors, along with us, is literally going to make it goodbye. It's a multi-billion dollar industry a year. And the man that they want to say, wow. Now, the debate. Let's go to the debate. You know how you know when this lady, Dopey, is lying? Does anyone know? I'm waiting for an answer, guys. Ron got the answer. So I don't have to ask you guys to check it out. You know this lady is lying as soon as you see her opening her mouth. Well, you've had 3.5, almost 4 years to do this. Why are you saying now it's on your agenda and get it down? Well, the hat has had 16 years that he's been trying to do. What? What does it have to do with the hat? We're talking about what are you going to do? We know what he can do. He can make America great again. Maybe I need to get depressed more because I get more boisterous on the shows.
She stole everything else from him. She might as well steal that too.
Yeah, Ron says she stole everything else from him. She might as well sell the stolen. But the point I bring this up is because whenever she's asked a question, his name is always one of the first things out of her mouth. But in the debate, she says what he's ducking the debate. There was one that she wouldn't go to. There was another one that something happened. It's her the one ducking it. And if you don't believe me, there's a guy on TikTok. Wears a little old crew cut, flat top type deal. Real good, deep voice. You know, I really like him. Can't think of his name. Go listen to him. He puts it right there on the line. 131 times. 131 times in their debate. They did fact checking. And 131 times this lady lied. That was in what, an hour and a half, 2-hour debate? How many lies would she tell if she gets 4 years? There may not be a number that high. They might have to create new numbers. So, let's see what Judy has to say. Restored Republic via the GCR as of October 25th, 2024. Judy Bidington, Jenny Hill, 22 personalities. TikTok. Time is up. Q clock ended Thursday, 25 October 2024. POTUS EBS alert countdown has begun. Deep state Rothschild banking empire going down. Banks closing. Blackout confirmed. Let's start. Commander-in-Chief on Telegram. Thursday, 24 October 2024. Protected children, All Hallows Eve. Tuesday, 29 October. Friday, 1 November. The highest court in land is the court of public opinion, and this means you. Be a part of history. Click and sign your letter to the Supreme Court. I seen a letter today with Charles Thomas, the judge, saying that he's waited his whole life for what he's about to tell. It's only wise to have at least a month's supply of food, water, cash, medicine, essential items on hand for yourself, your family, to share with others in case of emergency. Judy note, the U.S. INC or cabal was in big trouble on many fronts. Black swan events pending, massive cyber attacks, global financial collapse happening now. Banks were closing, markets were down, and Bitcoin has stopped trading. BRICS nations were meeting right now in Russia to end the U.S. dollar, though it already has been rejected for international trade. Now, almost 4 years into Sleepy and Dopey's cabal planned open border policies, the National Guard had to be deployed across the nation after gangs and drugs cartels seized control of major cities. To make matters worse, Sleepy and Dopey and NAOT, but you can spell it a different way, which you know how, were pushing for World War III. If they can do that, there will be no November 5th election. Then they're talking about the Rothschilds and the Kazazian mafia. On the other hand, the devolution plan, martial law, was already in effect for a continuity of governments and has been since 2020 fraudulent. You know what? White hat military arrest, wars with JAG, Gitmo, and World Court tribunals were also in place. Funding of the cabal was taken away when the new quantum financial system was put into place. Situation update, boom, Judy Bidington bombshell report. We are the plan. Where we go one, we go all. Q Restored Republic via GCR update as of Thursday 24th. Well, we already read that. WTPM. A lot of it's about Bruce and stuff we've already talked about. But guys, if we continue, if you get your, there has been a lot of major arrests of people delivering mail. One person was caught. I don't remember the amount, but it was in the thousands, taking these things and throwing them in a hole in a field. It's all over the place. Countries are trying to rig again or do whatever they're going to do. In closing, I'm going to say I hope and pray that we don't have to go through 2020 again. I hope that the hat and the people are smart enough to not make the people go through that. I remember I stayed up that night. I wanted to see the victory party for my man, for the guy I voted for. The guy that could carry on a conversation, the guy that has some brains, the guy that doesn't have straw in his head. What was it? 2-3 states? He was leading by an ungodly amount, millions. Wondering why he hasn't been declared the winner. There wasn't enough votes left in them states for him to lose. all of a sudden they're having trouble with the machines and they shut them down for the night. I get up the next morning and find out that Sleepy had won. It's not possible. But yet in one state, Sleepy in one state was still 30% of the votes. Sleepy had a 2,000 vote lead, and on national television, they declared him the winner of that state. Open your eyes. We can't go through that again. We can't let it happen. I hope down the hat, I hope you're listening. I hope somehow you see this video. And if you don't have to watch the whole thing, just watch this part right here. Do not put the people. You're going to make America great again. You're going to rebuild America. You're going to rebuild the world. You're going to be sitting up there on top with maybe one or two other people as the king of the world. We all know that. But for once, put all of us people who's worked our living rears off of for you, who has ate food that we're not accustomed to eating. We're used to eating better because we could afford better. Now we go to get steak and it's like, I remember when you were only, right? You can't do things we used to do. But yet each and every day, all of us patriots get up for you, sir, for you. And we do the best we can do for you. So it's time you do the best for us. Everyone have a great weekend. Hopefully we'll do a show because hopefully we're going to get the news we've been waiting for. Ron and myself, from the bottom of our heart, love you with all of our heart. Good night. God bless.